All right, hey guys. Right now, we're going to take a look at the Ten Commandments. Okay, they're found in Exodus chapter 20, and they are verses 3 through 17. But before we do that, let's look at how they're introduced in verse 2. Now, this is taking place at Mount Sinai. This is where the law was given to the nation of Israel. It's not the first time the law was given. The law's been in effect since eternity. I mean, God, the law, it existed in heaven before it existed here. The angels had to live by the law of God. It's the law that governs eternity. Okay? So this is just when it was first given to the Israelite nation. Now notice what the Father says. And actually I want to look at this verse too. I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. I always find it interesting how when it says that I am the Lord thy God, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on this. I don't know if this is right or not, but let's look at the two words. The word Lord there in Hebrew is the word Jehovah or Yehovah. Okay, and it means the existing one. Self-existent or eternal, Jehovah, the Jewish name of God. I think this looks like it probably could be the name of the Father. Like he goes by the name Jehovah. That's the Father's name. That's what I'm getting out of this. But notice how after that it says after that I am the Lord, and it says thy God. Let's look at the word used for thy God. It's the Hebrew word Elohim. This is where we get the plural. This is where a lot of people will say that it's a trinity because it's a plural. But I only see that there's two. That there's a Father and the Son. There's not a third. Okay? Now, I see how people say how God is the third, or the Holy Spirit's the third person of the Godhead. I do think it's the third person of the Godhead, but I don't think that it's a being or its own individual identity. I think that it's the Spirit of God, the Spirit of Christ, in the third person. And how I like how sometimes we can speak in the third person. I think that's what it is. I couldn't believe it was that simple, but that's what my studies have led me to believe. Now, and I'm trying to verify everything to make sure that's correct. But so when it says, "I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage," what I understand it is it's saying I am the Lord. It's saying I am God the Father, thy God. I think thy God is a name for the Father and the Son, because the Father is speaking through the Son. So you got Lord for Jehovah, thy God, which would be Jehovah speaking through Christ. So that's how I see that verse too. Give me some comments if you guys have better understanding on that, because I am very fascinated in this understanding. But let's look at the Ten Commandments, okay? Okay, number 1, thou shalt have no other gods before me. That's the first one. Okay, weird to have. God is our God. There's no other gods. Okay, we have one God. Okay, the second commandment. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Okay? Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord, thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Okay, that's the second one. So don't make any graven images. You know, like the Catholic Church, they worship all like their statues and idols of gold. We're not supposed to do any of that type of stuff. And that also reminds me, I always think of like the image of the beast. You know, people bowing down to the image of the beast, which is the church and state union, obeying the church and state. Kind of what it makes me think of there too. But let's look at number 3. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Okay, so we should not use the name of God and like use it like as a curse word or a filthy word or nothing like that. But I also see every time you see the word name always represents character. So for instance, if we are taking on the name of a Christian, but we're not keeping the commandments and we're living like a devil and we're living like Satan himself or a demon that lives on the earth, that too is taking the name of the Lord in vain. I've broken that many times, that commandment, most of my life. So that's another one. Look at commandment number 4. I love this one. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the 7th day, which is Saturday, is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within the gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the 7th day. He rested on a Saturday. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. You guys see how long that's the longest commandment. Very important. And notice how it starts out with the word remember. I love that, because the whole world has forgotten that Saturday is God's holy day to worship him. It's not Sunday. Sunday is man's tradition. It's man's way. When you worship on Sunday, we're worshiping the sun god Baal, and we're worshiping Satan himself ultimately. That's his day. Saturday is God's day. That's incredible. I never knew that before, and when I learned that, it blew my mind, because I'm like, wow, how is the whole world deceived on thinking Sunday is the day for church and a day to worship God? I mean, most of the world is deceived. So, I mean, this is what we're up against. Absolutely incredible. Okay, let's look at the next one. The 5th commandment, honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. We're supposed to honor our father and mother. Okay, thou shalt not kill. That's the 6th one. Obviously, killing is bad. And if we hate people, that's killing them as well. There's 2 applications to all these too. Even if we hate people without a cause, we are killing them in our thoughts, and it's just, we're not supposed that's bad too. Let's look at the next one. Thou shalt not commit adultery. No, obviously we're not to sleep with women or sleep with men that are not our husbands or wives or before we're married, all that, but also adultery to God. If we say we worship God and then we're worshiping other things, we're committing adultery. That can be committed in many, many ways. Next one is thou shalt not steal. Okay, do not steal. And there's a lot of meanings to that as well. That's not just stealing like items from people. This could be stealing tithes that we're supposed to give to God. It could be stealing time. I mean, there's a lot of things that could mean. And let's look at this one. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Okay, we're not supposed to lie and tell false witnesses. And you got to remember, this is God's kingdom. These laws are upheld in God's kingdom. The angels in heaven right now, the good angels have to live by all these 10 commandments. Satan and his angels, they broke these commandments. They didn't want to live by them. This is where sin comes in. In my next video, I'm going to talk a little bit about sin and what it is. And this is the last one. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. Now, we're not to covet. We're not to want our neighbor's car and our neighbor's wife and our neighbor's house and the things. We should be happy with the things God has blessed us with. We can't worry about what anybody else has. Just be thankful of what we have. So, and that's the last commandment. And like I said, all the angels have to live by these commandments. And if we can make it to heaven, we too have to live by these commandments for the rest of eternity. Okay? This is God's law. This is the law that this is the government of his kingdom. This is the law that we have to overcome on this earth through the Holy Spirit being in us. It can cause us to keep this law, because we can't keep it without the Holy Spirit. It's not possible. Man, while they're in the flesh, cannot keep the law, and God knew that. That's ultimately one of the reasons Jesus had to come, because he knew we could not keep it. So he came and kept it for us. And now he's offering up his life to put it in our place in the judgment that's taking place in heaven. So it's absolutely incredible learning about these things. So that's it for this video, guys. I just wanted to go over the 10 Commandments. So my next video, one of my next ones, I'm going to talk a little bit about how the Bible defines sin, what it is, and how it first came into the universe. And this is ultimate. And at the end, God's going to remove it from everybody, and he's going to destroy sin once and for all. So thank you for listening, guys, and that's it for this video. I'll catch you guys later.